"Don't cut that homeless man's hair. What is he even doing here?" screamed the boss. But what happened next changed everything. I kindly ask you to listen until the end, give a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel, as your attention helps the channel grow and allows me to create new and interesting stories. Thank you. Anna grew up in a poor family. She was driven by a thirst for knowledge, reading a lot from an early age. It seemed that Anna grew up with the belief that knowledge could change everything, her destiny, her position in society, even herself, and she believed it. First at school, then at the university, she worked hard to meet her parents' expectations. But life rarely follows a prescribed script. After graduating from university, Anna encountered reality. The marketing degree, into which her parents had invested so much effort and money, was just a pretty piece of paper. There were no jobs in her field. Everywhere required experience, and she, like thousands of other graduates, didn't have any. Anna experienced a sharp sense of guilt. How is this possible? I studied, worked hard, and now I look at these ads and realize I'm worth nothing. Thoughts overwhelmed her, turning despair into anger at herself. Why can't I find a way out? The solution came unexpectedly. She stumbled upon hairdressing courses online. Well, why not? Thought Anna. She remembered braiding her friend's hair as a child, and once, armed with kitchen scissors, trimming her grandfather so drastically that he joked he'd survived typhus. The courses became her chance to start anew. In just 3 months, Anna mastered the basics of hairdressing. Her hands were surprisingly precise and nimble, and her innate sense of style was praised by her instructors. But in a world of competition, talent alone wasn't enough. There were plenty of stylists willing to work for minimal pay, and Anna once again found herself in a position where she needed to prove her worth. She got a job as a cleaner at the beauty salon, Elegant Touch, located in the heart of Chicago. The salon was a place where the fates of different people intersected. Successful businessmen and flamboyant bohemians alike visited. The luxurious interiors, soft chandelier lighting, and faint scent of expensive cosmetics created an atmosphere of inaccessible luxury that made Anna's heart clench. Her main tasks were to polish mirrors until they shone, sweep hair clippings from the floor, and change towels. She watched the stylists who effortlessly wielded their scissors, transforming clients into magazine-worthy images. But the most challenging aspect was enduring the manager, Alex Patterson. Colleagues behind his back ironically and disdainfully called him Alex Grant. "Anna, grab the broom and get to it," he laughed as he walked by. Each of his remarks stung her pride, but Anna gritted her teeth and remained silent. She knew, if she showed weakness, he'd crush her completely. Her dream was to one day take a place behind the stylist's chair. She imagined clients calling her by name, smiling at their reflections, grateful for their transformation. But in reality, the only practice she got was on family or neighbors, and in the salon, they didn't even trust her to trim ends. One evening, Anna stayed late in the salon finishing up cleaning. The stylists had already left, and the only sound in the salon was the swish of her broom. She admired the chairs, bottles of shampoo, and expensive cosmetics. Suddenly, the bell above the door jingled. A man stood at the threshold. He wore a plaid shirt and well-worn trousers covered in dust. Anna tensed involuntarily. "Hello, I'd like a haircut," he said in a simple, calm voice. Anna was taken aback. The salon clients always looked well-groomed, and this man seemed to have come straight from a farm. Her gaze swept across the salon, hoping someone else could take him. "Well, what do you say?" he asked again, smiling. Anna suddenly realized this was her chance, her first client. Perhaps not the one she had dreamed of. She took a deep breath and said, "Certainly, please have a seat." The man looked at her, slightly surprised, but sat in the chair. Anna prepared her tools, trying to hide the tremble in her hands. "How would you like your hair cut?" she asked, listing the styles she could remember. "Just tidy me up, "However you think best," he replied. Anna nodded, picked up the scissors, and began. Her hands quickly gained confidence, and the man started to talk. He shared stories about his family, his work at a horse farm, and the horses he loved more than anything. His tales were so vivid that Anna couldn't help but smile, forgetting her anxiety. When the cut was finished, the man looked at his reflection in the mirror and said, "Now that's something. Thank you, young lady. You made a man out of me." Anna felt warmth in her chest. Her heart sang. She had succeeded. But the joy was short-lived. "What's going on here?" Alex Patterson stormed into the room like a whirlwind. His gaze fell on Anna, standing by the chair with scissors in hand, and on the man smiling as he looked around. "What kind of amateurism is this?" His voice quivered with indignation. "Why did I hire you? To hold a broom or destroy people?" "Alex, Anna started, but he had already turned his attention to the client. "And you, sir, how did you get in here? This isn't a homeless shelter, it's a premium salon." He gestured at the man's clothes, implying that his presence was an error. Anna felt her face flush with shame, fear, and indignation all at once. How could he speak to someone like that? Especially to this man who, despite his simple clothing, radiated an inner dignity. "Please, there's no need." Anna tried to intervene, but Alex Patterson cut her off as usual. "No need. I decide what's needed. Do you think we can make money from this client? Do you realize how much will have to be thrown out? Towels, tools, everything needs replacing. Who knows what he's brought in?" Those words were the last straw. Anna was about to burst into tears, but the man calmly rose from the chair and turned to Alex Patterson. His face, previously good-natured and calm, seemed to turn to stone, stern, firm, with a cold gleam in his eyes. "Listen," he began calmly, but there was steel in his voice. "Has your mother never told you the wise saying, 'Don't judge a book by its cover'?" Alex Patterson was taken aback. He opened his mouth, but no words came. The man calmly pulled neatly folded bills from his chest pocket and handed them to Anna. "Thank you, young lady. Excellent work. Keep the change. This is for your skill." He smiled at her as if nothing had happened. "And to you," he turned again to Alex Patterson, "I'd advise you not to judge people by their clothes. People are worth more than they seem." With those words, he turned and headed to the exit. Alex Patterson stood as if struck by lightning, and Anna didn't know what to say. She felt a mix of gratitude and the pain of the humiliation she had endured. When the door closed behind the man, an oppressive silence settled over the salon. Alex Patterson wouldn't have been himself if he hadn't tried to take revenge. "Wow, Anna," he said with mockery. "You've signed your own death warrant. You'll be sweeping floors all your life now. Dreamed of cutting clients' hair? Forget it. Don't even think about it." His words were like venomous arrows piercing her heart, but she raised her gaze and confidently looked him in the eye. Her silence spoke louder than any words. Alex Patterson waved his hand and left, abandoning her in the middle of the room. Anna stood there, tears pressing against her chest that she barely held back, but deep inside, a glimmer of hope emerged. Her first client was satisfied, and his words about her work warmed her heart. The next day, Anna returned to work. Everything was as usual: clients, stylists, Alex Patterson's cold remarks. But something had changed. She couldn't shake the feeling that yesterday marked the beginning of something new, and it confirmed itself when a new client entered the salon, a tall man in an expensive suit. Alex Patterson immediately bustled over, greeting him with a standard smile. "Good day, we're glad to see you in our salon. Which stylist do you need?" "Anna. I was recommended to the stylist Anna," the man calmly replied. Those words struck the manager like a bolt of lightning. He froze, then awkwardly smiled. "Anna, of course, of course. Please come in. Take a seat. I'll call her right away." Anna, standing nearby with a broom in her hand, felt her insides twist. She looked up, and their eyes met. Alex Patterson murmured something begrudgingly, but then added, "Today, you're the stylist. Just try not to ruin it." That day marked the beginning of a new chapter in her life. Anna stood in front of the mirror, trying to calm her breathing. Her palms were sweaty, her heart thudding in her chest. She didn't know who this man was, but his confidence and insistence on her seemed like a miracle. Yesterday she was humiliated, and today she had to prove she was worthy of the title of stylist. Tying her hair into a neat bun and donning her uniform, Anna stepped into the salon. The client was already seated, smiling gently as he looked around. He looked dignified. The expensive suit fit his broad shoulders perfectly. His leather shoes shone with fresh polish. The man turned to Anna and warmly smiled. "Good day, I'm Anna. How can I assist you?" Her voice wavered, but she immediately regained her composure, trying to sound confident. "Hello, Anna. I'd like to refresh my look. Whatever you think best, I fully trust your judgment." He spoke softly, but his tone carried the confidence typically found in those who know their worth. Anna nodded, suppressing the urge to glance toward Alex Patterson. She knew he was likely watching her every move, but this was her moment, her chance. She began to work, scissors in hand. Anna felt the familiar confidence that always came as she immersed herself in her craft, the rhythm of the work, the sound of scissors, the softness of hair beneath her fingers. It was meditative for her. The client remained silent, but his warm smile and composure helped Anna feel more assured. At some point, she decided to take a risk and start a conversation. "Excuse me, can I ask who recommended me to you?" "Certainly," the man smiled at the mirror. "George Wilson. He spoke very highly of you." The name struck her like lightning. Yesterday's client, the very same simply dressed man Alex Patterson had belittled. Anna couldn't help but smile, recalling his calm gaze and assured words. "I'm very pleased to hear that. Thank you for trusting me." The trust is well deserved. When someone like George Wilson gives a recommendation, it means a lot. Anna pondered over who this George Wilson might be, given the respect his name commanded, but she shelved those thoughts for later. Right now, the priority was to finish the task. The work concluded after half an hour. Anna added the final touches and tidied her tools. "Please take a look. Does everything satisfy you?" She stepped aside to give the client the view of his transformation. "Excellent job. Everything's just right." "Thank you, Anna." He stood, retrieved his wallet, and paid for the service. As he departed, he smiled again and said, "Mr. Wilson sends his regards and mentioned he'll visit you again soon." With those words, the man left, leaving Anna in a mild state of shock. Her heart filled with a mix of joy, surprise, and gratitude. Alex Patterson, who had been observing the situation from afar, emerged from his office. His face displayed a mix of irritation and confusion. He approached Anna, seemingly at a loss for words. "Well, you managed," he forced out grudgingly. Anna nodded silently. She saw a hint of insecurity in his eyes, but chose not to provoke him. "We'll see how things go," he grumbled, then exited, slamming the door. Anna remained alone in the room. Her hands were still trembling, but she smiled. This wasn't just a success. It was her first triumph, and she sensed it was only the beginning. A week had passed since Anna first attended to a client in the salon. The emotions had gradually subsided, and life returned to its routine. Alex Patterson no longer made snide remarks, but he still watched her with suspicion, as if waiting for her to slip. However, Anna hoped the initial success wouldn't be her last. Though she couldn't have anticipated her life would soon change again. On an ordinary weekday, another client entered, a middle-aged man in an impeccable suit with an expensive watch on his wrist. His confident stride and light smile immediately captured the attention of everyone present. Alex Patterson emerged from his office, beaming as if he had just secured the deal of a lifetime. Good day, sir. Welcome to our salon. How can we assist you? He inquired with great enthusiasm. Hello, the man responded in an even, calm voice. I was recommended to see the stylist, Anna. I'd like to make an appointment with her. The words were spoken with such assurance that even Alex Patterson, who had begun to extol the salon's top stylists, stumbled over them. A look of uncertainty flickered across his face. Anna? He repeated as though doubting his own hearing. Of course, Anna is our top specialist. He recovered quickly, changing his tone. Please, have a seat. I'll call her for you right away. Observing the scene from a corner, Anna felt a tightening in her chest. She wasn't sure whether to feel elated or anxious. Alex Patterson approached her with an exaggerated smile. Anna, it seems you're our star today. Another client by recommendation. Don't disappoint. He spoke with thinly veiled irritation, but she noticed how his gaze faltered. Perhaps he was starting to realize that her skill could bring more benefit to the salon than he had anticipated. The session with the new client went surprisingly smoothly. The man was not very talkative, but expressed gratitude. When the haircut was finished, he glanced in the mirror, nodded approvingly, and said, "Everything's perfect. Thank you very much." Before leaving, he added, "George Wilson sends his regards. He's very pleased with your work." Those words once again left her pondering. Who exactly was this mysterious man, George Wilson, who so confidently recommended her to all his acquaintances? The stream of clients seeking Anna began to swell. People came, extending greetings from George Wilson, and every time she fondly remembered her first client. Her self-confidence grew with each passing day. If before she hesitated when picking up scissors, now she felt in her element. She noticed how her attitude toward her work and herself was evolving. Alex Patterson no longer made harsh comments. In fact, he began overtly praising her in front of clients. "We have a top-class stylist here. Anna is a true professional," he said, and his voice sounded almost sincere. One evening, as the workday drew to a close, Anna cleaned her workstation, reflecting on the changes over the past 2 weeks. It felt like she lived in another world where she was finally appreciated. The bells on the door jingled again. Expecting it to be the last client of the day, Anna turned and froze. At the entrance stood the man she had first cut hair for in this very place, now looking completely different. An elegant suit fitted perfectly to his figure. Striking silver hair added to his allure. He smiled at her with the same warmth she remembered from their first meeting. "Hello, Anna. Ready to take on an old client?" he asked with a smirk. Anna nearly dropped her comb in surprise, but quickly composed herself and beamed. "Of course, please come in." George settled into the chair as he had during their first encounter, but now everything felt different. Anna was confident, her hands no longer shook. She knew he hadn't come by chance, but what would he do this time? "How should we style it this time?" she inquired, with her usual motions draping the cape over his shoulders. "Just as before, make me look princely," he chuckled. Anna smiled warmly. His words filled her with a sense of ease, as if nothing in the world could unsettle him. While she worked, George began to tell stories. His voice was steady, calm, like he was narrating a page from a book. "Anna, you probably had no idea who I was when we first met, did you?" he asked. Anna paused for a moment but quickly resumed cutting, striving to maintain her composure. "Honestly, no. You seemed like a perfectly ordinary person to me." "And that's good," he smiled, "because back then, I truly was just a simple person. I came straight from the racetrack where I spend most of my time. You know, when you work with horses, appearances aren't the priority." "You work with horses?" Anna couldn't hide her surprise. "Yes, for many years now, but there's one more piece. I own that racetrack." Anna nearly dropped the scissors. She turned to look at him, trying to gauge whether he was joking. but only kindness and a slight smile shone in his eyes. "Really?" she whispered, still not fully believing what she'd heard. "Absolutely," he confirmed. "Our racetrack is one of the best in the country. We breed thoroughbred racehorses known far beyond the USA." He spoke of his work with such passion that Anna was spellbound. Horses required care, attention, and immense effort to keep them healthy and prepared for competitions. "Then why did you come to the Salon looking like that?" Anna ventured to ask. Recalling their first meeting, George laughed. "Oh, that was a funny story. We were in the midst of preparing for a major exhibition. Everything was in such chaos that I lost track of when I'd last had a haircut. Then I realized I couldn't attend an important meeting looking like that, so I popped into the first salon I found." He paused briefly, then added, "But honestly, I didn't expect to find a stylist like you there." Anna recalled Alex Patterson's yelling, his belittling words. She felt ashamed about that day once more. "I apologize for what happened back then," she said softly. "It was awful." "There's no need to apologize, young lady. It wasn't your fault. Quite the opposite. You showed what it means to be a true professional. You didn't hesitate to take me on, and you did your work with heart. That's why I felt people needed to know about you." She paused and looked at him in the mirror. "So you were the one sending all those clients my way?" "Yes, I specifically recommended you as the best stylist because you truly deserve success." Her eyes welled up with tears. She nodded in silence, afraid that her voice would betray her if she tried to speak. The work was finished, and George once more resembled someone who could easily outshine anyone with his presence. He stood, glanced at his reflection, and nodded in approval. "Marvelous, Anna. Once again, I'm convinced you are a master of your craft." He extended his hand, and she, trembling with emotion, shook it. "Thank you," she whispered. "No, thank you," he replied, "for not being afraid of challenges." Before leaving, George turned and added, "If you ever need assistance, you can always count on me." Those words struck a chord with Anna. She watched him as he exited the salon, feeling her heart brim with warmth and gratitude. That encounter wasn't just about acknowledging her skills. She realized it was vital not only to believe in herself, but also to remain open to changes that may come when least expected. Life in the salon no longer felt the same. Anna firmly secured her status as a lead stylist. Now clients and colleagues alike respected her. Even Alex Patterson became more restrained and refrained from attempting to demean her. Her grandmother's saying echoed in her mind, "They judge by clothes, but the true strength of a person is always visible to those who look deeper." Several months had passed since George became a part of Anna's life. During this time, her world transformed beyond recognition. The Elegant Touch Salon was often dubbed the place where that master stylist Anna works. Clients flocked in, and she finally felt her efforts were duly recognized. She stood confidently behind the chair as if she'd been there all her life. Despite Alex Patterson's efforts, he had to acknowledge her success. He even ceased fawning over clients when they extolled her skills. One evening, with the workday winding down, Anna found herself alone in the salon. The room was bathed in silence, and she took a moment to sit in a chair and catch her breath. Yet the doorbell jingled softly, and she turned to see George, now wrapped in a stylish coat with a light smile. "Hello, Anna. I hope I'm not too late." Rising from her seat, she smiled. "Certainly not. I always have time for you." George entered, removed his gloves, and carefully laid them on the counter. "I'm not here for a haircut today," he stated. Anna gazed at him in surprise. "I just wanted to stop by and thank you. You have no idea how grateful I am to have stumbled into your salon." She wasn't sure how to respond. His words were always so genuine that they tugged at her heartstrings. "You know," she said, mustering the courage, "I'm the one who should be thanking you. You changed my life. If it weren't for you, I'd still be sweeping floors." He smiled and shook his head. No, Anna, you changed your life. I only saw what was always within you. You are a true master, and I'm confident that greater things lie ahead for you. Anna felt a prickling in her eyes, fighting back tears. She turned away, trying to hide them. Thank you, she quietly said. George paused briefly before sharing, I have a proposal for you. There's a small space next to our racetrack. Horses are wonderful, but people traveling from all over the world often need something more. A beauty salon would be the perfect addition. Anna stared at him in disbelief. You want me to open a salon there? Yes, I want it to be your salon. His words struck like a bolt from the blue. Anna struggled to grasp the gravity of his offer. She looked at George for a long time, trying to discern if he was serious. But I'm not sure if I can, she started, but he gently interrupted her. Anna, if anyone can do it, it's you. I've seen how you work, how dedicated you are. You're the person who can make that place special. A small spark of hope ignited within her as she smiled. I'll consider your offer, she finally responded. I'm sure you'll make the right choice, he countered, extending his hand. Anna took it, feeling the warmth and confidence he always radiated. Once George left, Anna remained standing in the empty salon, dwelling on his words. Her life had once changed due to a chance encounter, and now she stood on the brink of something new. Her grandmother's saying echoed in her mind. They judge by clothes, but the true strength of a person is seen by those who look deeper. She now knew that the key was believing in herself and daring to make choices that could change everything. She sat alone in the empty salon, contemplating George's proposal. Her journey from cleaner to a respected stylist among clients and peers had been long, and now a new door was opening, one she had never dared to dream of. Could she have imagined that a single fortuitous client would transform her life? That the very person belittled for his appearance would become the one to offer her a future? Destiny loves unexpected twists, and this story is vivid proof of that. Did you enjoy this story? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to not miss new releases. See you soon.